Hello and welcome to the Spire Sports Show. I am your host, Giggs. It is Monday, and we are going to be breaking down the NBA slate here. We got a few games here. Looks like we got nine total games on this main slate. So me and Gordon, we're about to get right into it here. We'll start with the first game. We got Charlotte at Philadelphia. That's -8 for Philadelphia with an over-under of 222. Looks like just about everybody's playing in this game other than Zeller. So, Gordon, I'll start with you. Is there anyone you're going to be looking at in this Charlotte-Philadelphia game?
Maybe LaMelo Ball. He keeps getting the minutes, and he does everything. So even if it's a blowout, I like him. Other than that, on Charlotte's side, I won't be touching anybody. I don't know if PJ Washington's. I know he's questionable earlier, but maybe Biyombo. But I like other players tonight. I'm probably gonna stay away from Charlotte unless it's LaMelo, just in case if it's a blowout.
Yeah, I definitely have Biyombo in my player pool, and I'm definitely going to be looking at Ball. He's hit value. I think it's 2 or 3 games in a row now. His price did get jacked up a little bit, and you would like to see him start at that price. I think he's at 6,400 or 6,300. So if Devontae Graham's starting, I don't like that as much. But if Ball is starting, I do like that price. I think he can hit value. Probably not touching Rozier, not playing Devontae Graham. I probably won't have any shares of Ben Simmons. I might have a couple Embiid just because I feel like he can really destroy this team. He's probably got one of the highest ceilings on this slate.
He's projected to hit over 50 points. He's under 10K. It's a good combo. If the game somehow does stay close and he gets a longer run, it's even better.
I think he has a bigger game than Drummond today. So I like that as the pay-up option at center. Vooch looks strong for cash, but I'd probably go Embiid for GPP if I'm paying up at center. PJ Washington's price finally fell back down, got jacked up a little bit. It was like above 6,000 for 1 or 2 games. I think 5,100 is about right. I think that's fine. Gordon Hayward's, he's up there. He's almost 8K. He's more of a cash option. He had a strong outing last game against Philadelphia, but I'm probably not looking at a lot of Charlotte or Philly guys. Maybe Seth Curry. Maybe who's that point guard for Philly? Shake Milton. He's surprisingly hit value a few times here. He's proven he can get 30 points. So at 4,800, I don't think that's terrible, but I think he can do a little bit better. So yeah, probably not a lot of exposure in this game. Any dart throws from this game I didn't mention that you can think of?
The only thing would be that Seth Curry. Other than that, I like value elsewhere for tonight. Like you said, Shake Milton. I like other point guards that are on that price. There's a couple minimums too that we'll talk about. So, but LaMelo Ball, I don't even know if he'll even make my lineup. I might just have one with him just in case he gets a couple steals, couple blocks, and I don't have him. I'll be upset. But Embiid, Tobias Harris, that's really it from that game for my player pool.
All right. Well, let's look at the next one then. We got Cleveland at Orlando. Orlando's -5.5. The over/under on this game is 217. We know Evan Fournier was game time decision. It doesn't look like. I want to say it doesn't look like he's playing.
No, I think he's listed out.
All right. Yeah, officially out here. It says Markelle Fultz, Michael Carter-Williams, Dwayne Bacon, Aaron Gordon, and Vucevic will be your starting lineup for Orlando. We're still waiting to get the news on Garland for Cleveland to see if he's starting. We expect to see Dante Exum, Sexton, Nance, Drummond. I'm going to guess Chetty Osman would slide into that starting role if Garland was not able to play. I think there's some guys you can definitely pick from in this game. I'm going to be looking at Larry Nance. I'm going to be looking at Colin Sexton. I think if you want to go cheap with JaVale McGee, that's fine. I like Markelle Fultz. I think he's a strong option for cash and GPP, and I think Vooch is a really good option for cash. Is there anyone you're looking at in this game, someone that's in your player pool that you have a lot of exposure to?
So I feel like for this game, there's a couple players that are due for some positive regression in a big way. Cleveland, if Garland does play, I like him. He shot 3 of 14 last game. He gets the peripherals. He had 5 turnovers. I could see him shooting a little bit better. Larry Nance, I know he fills his stat sheet and he played well. He shot terrible that game. So I like those guys. I feel like people might be off them as much, even crazy say off Larry Nance, but I like those guys more because they're going to be low owned. On Orlando's side with no Fournier, someone has to take the usage. I know last game we talked about Aaron Gordon. He started strong but didn't finish. But Markelle Fultz shot 5 of 16. I'm going to have him. Michael Carter-Williams went 2 of 11. You got to have some of these players in this game. And then if you want to throw another one in there, I know shooting guard's kind of loaded today around his price range. Terrence Ross shot the ball 21 times last game.
Yeah. I was going to say, Terrence Ross at that price looks real good. He almost hit 40 FanDuel points. So I definitely have Terrence Ross in a couple lineups here. MP in the chat says, I don't know about being a Josh Jacobs fan. Laugh out loud. My top 2 are now Gibson and Chubb. Yeah, the Josh Jacobs news, when that came out, the first thing I said in the group chat for Aspire, I was like, MP is going to be pissed. He's not going to like this news. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I don't know. Do players I
don't think he really
have to get disciplined by the team? It's not really the league, right?
Yeah, I don't see him getting in too much trouble unless he would have hurt somebody or something, but
right.
Young guy, he can mess up.
Young guy making mistakes. We've all been there.
Plenty of times myself. But
there's something called college. Yeah, so Cleveland, Orlando, this one looks good. I know the over-under on this one's low, but I'll definitely have some exposure in this game. Definitely going to Sexton, definitely going to Nance. I'll have a little bit of Ross. I like Fultz. I think he's a strong option today. So there's some guys you can pick from in this game. I don't think I'm going to go Dwayne Bacon, though. I don't think I'm going to play Michael Carter-Williams.
Some of those guys, not every one of them is going to go 9 for 10 next game, but someone on that team is going to shoot better besides Vucevic. Or Vucevic. He's going to get – Vucevic's going to have the same usage, probably around the same usage, everything, rebounds as last game. But Terrence Ross came in and gets more shots because guys like Fultz aren't hitting. Michael Carter-Williams had 5 fouls. Michael Carter-Williams is very, very low price. If he gets you mid-20 points, I mean, that's a good one. But I like pay up for point guard after I went low yesterday. But I will have some Michael Carter-Williams. I will have Fultz, maybe Terrence Ross. Wouldn't mind Vucevic at that center spot. What's he sitting at 8,300? He's 1,000, 1,600 less than both big guys, Drummond and Embiid. So I wouldn't mind that at all either.
Yeah, the RotoWire value report has Michael Carter-Williams as a 7.2
Did
value.
you read MP's chat? I wasn't here, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I read it.
All right, just double check.
Yeah, Michael Carter-Williams definitely is in play, I would say, for GPP. Not so much cash, but like you said, he can hit 20 pretty easily. And at that price, that's real good. Is it like a long arrest? I'll tell you what. I know that the head coach, Chucky, Gruden ain't going to be happy with that. Oh, yeah. Hey, happy birthday, Mike Hawk. I'm so glad you love our streams. Keep coming back, Mike Hawk. We love you. All right, well, let's look at this next game here.
Yeah.
We got Boston,
Any
Toronto.
relation to Mike Hunt?
Possibly. I heard they're cousins.
That would make sense.
Boston and Toronto. That'd be the next one on the slate. Toronto's minus 4.5, which I find very surprising. I think that tells us that Marcus Smart probably isn't playing. We know Jeff Teague isn't playing. Boston is coming off a back-to-back. So this should be a tougher game for Boston. I think they can win this one. So I was a little surprised by the minus 4.5, but over-unders 218.5. That's about middle of the pack here on this slate. So not the best, not the worst, but I think there's some good value in this game. Gordon, who are you looking at this one?
Well, Marcus Smart just got ruled out. So that opens up a lot of value, a lot of usage in here. Jaylen Brown going back to the well. Him and Tatum could both go for 50 tonight, FanDuel points. There's going to be more shots, more usage. Pritchard. He's going to get minutes. He can have points, rebounds, assists, and maybe a couple steals. I like that. I think these games with Boston, like whenever Boston played Indiana, those games are always close. The over-under might stick around 216, 217. But with those guys playing, they're going to get to 30-plus minutes every time. So I feel the same thing like that. Boston Toronto is always a good matchup. I'll be watching this game. So I'm going to have some Jaylen Brown. I like him. I like Tatum, Pritchard. Just depends on who you think is going to get those minutes. And all signs point to Pritchard. Brad Stevens seems to like him. I know you're big on Pritchard, but who else do you like from Boston?
I also like Tristan Thompson. I think Thompson has to be in play it seems like when he's in the starting lineup, or at least when he's getting the minutes, even with Tice, he seems to be good for 20 to 25. So I definitely think you can look at Tristan Thompson in this one, especially with them being shorthanded. I think Pritchard, that just boosts his value big time. I think Jayson Tatum at 9,100 looks better now. That's more shots to go around for him, maybe a little bit more ball handling duties for him. So I think that definitely gives a boost to Tatum. I know he's a little bit pricey. He's sitting at 9,100, but that's about right for him because he can get a 45, 50 points just about any night. So strong cash option. I'll have exposure to him in GPP. But I'm looking at the value here. Daniel Tice. They have him at 6.5. I'm not too keen on Daniel. I like Daniel Tice a lot more with no Tristan Thompson, but when they're both playing, I'd probably go Tristan Thompson here. I think there's still like better options at center, but if you wanted to play it somewhat safe, I think Tristan Thompson is good for 2025 tonight. No Marcus Smart's big. You know that Jaylen Brown, Tatum, they're going to be heavily played now. They're already down Jeff Teague. It's going to be interesting what their rotation looks like. That's something to keep an eye on so you know what happens when they're down a couple guards. But on the Toronto side, I'm big on OG. I think I think Kyle Lowry is a very strong cash game option. I think he's also good for GPP. And I'm probably going to stay away from Pascal Siakam. Ever since the bubble, he just hasn't been right. So, he had a couple games this year where he's pretty good. He's got one move.
All he does is go left to the spin move to the right every time. Jaylen Brown eats that up every time. I like that matchup. I don't like that matchup for Siakam at all tonight.
No, I agree. I also just don't think he's just priced way too high for his performances so far. He's not like doing
Siakam.
that well.
I'm a fan of him, but I think that Siakam better second fiddle. When Kawhi was there, whenever the main focus on offense was Kawhi, Siakam can kind of do what he wants, slip behind some screens and stuff. But like I said, if he gets the ball on the wing and you got Jaylen Brown guarding him or Jayson Tatum, I'm taking Brown or Tatum over him every time. Siakam's also been in a lot of foul trouble. So that means you like Kyle Lowry's usage more. Anunoby can always get some peripherals. I mean, there's games where he'll get a couple steals and 4 or 5 blocks. That's almost 30 points right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, OG's ceiling is great just about every week because of his defense. Even in tough matchups, we know what he can get. 2 steals, 2 blocks, right there is 12 points. So,
but definitely prayer prop rise. I don't mind this game because I like Jaylen Brown. Points, rebounds, assists. Unless it's at a crazy number, anything under 39 or so, 39 and a half. I'll probably get that if you can. He's only been getting better every year. This was the year his game takes that step to where it's at right now. So I don't think this is a fluke. I think he keeps it going.
You gonna have any Norman Powell in this game?
I hate Norman Powell, man. I don't know if I'll be able to roster him. I might just bite the bullet on that. He pisses me off. I feel like every time they project, he's supposed to go for 30. He'll start off the first quarter, hit a couple threes, get a couple steals, and then he's non-existent the rest of the game. So that's
just one of those guys you can never catch.
I'll be steering clear of him.
Yeah, I'm seeing RotoWire having him as a decent value play tonight. I think we can do better. I'd probably just pay up a little bit more for Sadiq Bey or someone like that. Maybe even Kevin Knox. But
for Jaylen Brown, it seems like in just in a matter of time, he'll be priced up there with KD in the mid 9,000s. Like I said, with no Marcus Smart, Boston's pissed they didn't make it to the finals last year. It doesn't matter who they lost to or whatever. They are not happy. So games like this, I feel like they'll play up. Both 2 well-coached teams, so I don't really see a blowout happening. But I like Jaylen Brown. I like other players besides Tatum, but I feel like small forward's relatively weak tonight, especially pay-up options. But I like Brown way more than I like Tobias Harris.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree with you there. Jaylen Brown's in store for at least 20 shots tonight with no Marcus Smart.
We're gonna have to backtrack a little bit. Garland's out.
All right, so back to that game. Garland out. I expected him to be out, so that's why I'm big on Sexton. Colin Sexton is going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and he's going to be shooting a lot. So even if it doesn't go in, we know he's going to have a ton of usage today, and at 7,100, I think that's a great price. So look to Colin Sexton in this game with Garland out. That's big. I am interested to see what they run their starting lineup.
Larry Nance's usage is going to be there.
Yep.
Triple-double threat already, it seems like, which is crazy to say, but no point guard out. He's going to get the minutes. Dante Exum's going to get some minutes. So much value has just opened up within we started 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I heard Damon Dawson starting, still doesn't faze me. I think low usage. I like Nance and Sexton big time from that game. Just hope that they can keep it close. But Cleveland's been playing well this year. I'm happy with the direction they're heading in.
4-2, and they got young talent. They look like they're primed for the future. I'll say this: the expected lineup right now does look like Chetty Osman is going to be in there. Exum moving into the point guard position. So I haven't checked his price. I'm guessing he's like 4,000 or lower. And I think that's a fine option tonight if he's getting starter minutes because they're going to need someone who can shoot the ball.
Now my question for you is, so hold on one second. Exum, what's Exum's price? He's sitting at 3,600. Carter Williams is 3,700. Who would you put in your lineup?
I think I'd go Michael Carter Williams, to be honest with you. I just don't trust Dante Exum. I'd have to check out his game log, but I'm pretty sure he really has no jump shot. He kind of gets it done with rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. If he gets to the hole, if he can get to the hoop, he can score. He's just not a guy I trust when it comes to shooting. So at that price, it's hard to not look that way, though. I mean, if you want to go one Michael Carter Williams and then one with Exum, that's fine. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm probably going MCW.
Okay, and then where would you rank, since we just covered that game, coming back to some more value with Smart being out? Is Pritchard above both of them? Or are you taking him? Are you taking Carter Williams over him as well? Or what are you thinking?
I think Pritchard's essentially a lock for 20 points tonight. So at 3,700, which I believe his price is, I don't think you can find much better value there at point guard. Like him, Elfrid Payton, like that's people I'm going to want shares of. Pritchard should be logging 25 to 30 minutes tonight. I'd be surprised if he doesn't hit 25. So he's definitely on like my must play list now.
Well, I think Pritchard's going to be in the majority of my lineups, as everybody else is. I might have one throw off, and it'll be Carter Williams, but for the majority part, like I said, I'm going to be rolling Pritchard. Brad Stevens likes him. He'll get more of a run. He'll get that second unit usage and everything. His usage should be really high. I don't see how you don't have him in almost all of your lineups tonight.
Right. Find a way to get him in there. Pay up for somebody. Like Pritchard is. I think that's the move tonight.
Pritchard, and then pick your best studs and then build your lineup around that. If you think Steph, I know we'll get to that game later, but if you think Steph's going to have another big night, him and Pritchard. You think De'Aaron Fox hits better value, him and Pritchard. That's the way you go, and then you decide if you want Embiid, and you can throw Jaylen Brown in there, and you have a lot more room to do things now. That's why I like DFS in the late scratches. Everybody's scrambling, and you can find some good value that might go low owned. So if you have someone you think, if you've been watching basketball and you're like, this guy might get an extended run and I can see him get minutes, put him in your lineup.
Absolutely. That's the benefit of paying attention early, is you find out like what new coaches do with these new teams. Not all rosters are the same as they were last year. So when a guy goes down, you want to know who gets their minutes. And if you can be on top of that or in front of it, you're going to make a lot of money playing DFS. So I'm with you there. I love that last second scramble and seeing someone play Siakam at like Siakam 17% owned in a GPP, and he's got a goose egg. I love that stuff.
I can say that I will have zero lineups with Pascal Siakam in them. I don't think he has a good matchup at all. and it looks like he has no confidence.
I would agree. Do you guys dabble in betting player props or strictly focus on DFS? We do just about everything. We'll bet on games. We'll bet on player props. We'll make same game parlays. We mostly focus on DFS for our videos leading up to tip off, but we'll pretty much cover anything. If we see some really good bets on like Sportsbook or something, we'll throw them out there for you guys. Because, I mean, prop bets, they kind of just go hand in hand with fantasy. If you think someone's going to have a big game fantasy-wise, you can go check out their player props. If you think they're not getting enough love, you smash that over. So we'll definitely cover bets. And if you have
player props, sometimes I feel like a good strategy with player props, you just got to watch those games you think are blowouts. If you think they're blowouts, that could sink you, even if a guy gets going really early. But when players are out, tonight, I feel like FanDuel or whatever service you use, they don't. They're also scrambling too to set the correct statistics. So
yep,
Cleveland. I have no problem. I'll be taking Larry Nance. His points, rebounds, assists. I don't mind Colin Sexton there either. Markelle Fultz is, like I said, he's due for a better game if his shot falls a little bit. He got 16 shots. Fournier's not going to play, so that's going to be there. And then from Boston, going back to with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it looks like Boston's expected lineup is Pritchard, Brown, Tatum, Thompson, Tice. So Pritchard's definitely going to get a lot of love tonight. And you got to like Jaylen Brown and Tatum with no Smart there. That's a couple extra shots for both of them.
So, honestly, okay, so what did I say to Jaylen Brown before? His points, rebounds, and assists is at 33.5.
Yeah, I would take that over.
I mean, so that's how I'm looking. Like, I feel like once a player gets rolled out, jump on it early. Or if he's questionable and you think he's going to be leaning towards being out, jump on it early. So, you, like we said before, if you get it at 33.5 and then come tip off, it's 36.5, that could decide it right there.
And you're going to feel real good about yourself if it's moving that quickly. Very confident. All right, well, let's look at this next game.
Yep.
We got the New York Knicks at Atlanta. Atlanta's -7. The over-under on this game is 223.5. Little bit over middle of the pack. I think it's tied for second highest over-under on the slate right now. So I know I'm going to have a ton of exposure to this game. I'll go ahead and get into it. I like Elfrid Payton. I like RJ Barrett. I like Julius Randle. I like Mitch Robinson. I think all those guys are great plays. Julius Randle and Payton especially. And if you want to look at the Atlanta side, I think DeAndre Hunter is fine. He's looked really sharp. He's looked real good. He was someone I was really big on coming out of the draft because he can get it done on the defensive side. But when his shot's falling, I might get flack for this, but I consider him like a mini Kawhi. Like, I really do. I really like that player. I think he's got a really bright future. So at 5,400, someone who's hitting 25, 30 points right now, I'm big on him. John Collins.
Yep. 6,800, man.
You got to have some of him tonight. He's been somewhat of a headache this year for season long and DFS, but I like John Collins tonight. It's just a tough price to pass up. New York, they've been getting eaten up by power forwards and centers all year. So I think John Collins can feast in this matchup. We can only hope, though, right? Hopefully no 21, 22-point performance like last time. That was a ball buster. And then Capella. I mean, 6,500, I think Clint Capella is definitely in play. I really like that price. I think he had a 40-burger last time. So if he can start doing that, we really like that price for Capella. Are you going to be playing Trae Young? Are you playing anyone I didn't mention so far in this game?
No, but I definitely will be having a game stack of this game. It seems like Capella's 20-minute limit got lifted a couple games ago against Brooklyn. Favorable matchup. The only thing that scares me about these games is I feel like John Collins at his price is going to be really high on tonight. Is in foul trouble then, right? He's guarding Julius Randle. Julius Randle, going to China shop type of player, going to the hoop. And Julius Randle's usage is very high. So I could see John Collins getting in some foul trouble, Capella eating up more rebounds. And on the reverse side, I could see the same from Mitchell Robinson. I could be wrong, and it could be Capella in foul trouble and Julius Randle in foul trouble. But I'm going to have different combos with these players. But just because John Collins is 6,800, don't put him in every single lineup because there's a chance that he gets in foul trouble and only gets 15, 20 points. And that's not good value at all, especially with players like Bagley out there who are cheaper.
Yeah, don't go too heavy on John Collins. I wish I could say he was a cash play guy at that price, but he's been too inconsistent. So just a really strong GPP play right now. But yeah, don't be too bullish on him. I think there's some good pay down options on this slate as well at power forward. So if you think Collins is in store for a 35, 40-point game, which he should be, go ahead and fire him up because it looks good here. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much all on board with any of the New York Knicks starters, even Reggie Bullock, if you want to go there. For the Hawks, if you like Trae Young, that's probably more for cash. He hasn't really gotten that 55, 60-point game that we want at that price tag. Cam Reddish, that's an okay GPP play. Rondo, we know he's probably not playing in this game, and they're without Dunn, they're without Gallinari. So they're really weak here at guard. They don't have much depth. So Trae Young might get a little extra run here. So I think you can look to a lot of players in this game with confidence. It's a game I'll have a bunch of exposure to. I know that for a fact. Atlanta's fast, so you want teams playing Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be. I'll have a lot of, like I said, I'm just not gonna load all my lineups, put eggs in one show just because John Collins is 6,800. Those other guys are priced a little above him. Foul trouble was always a problem for him, so I could see that being a problem continued. Not saying it will happen. It might not, but I'm gonna have him in a lot of lineups, but I'm not gonna have him in every lineup. He's not like an optimal play for me.
Agreed. All right, let's look at this next one. We got Oklahoma City at Miami. Miami's -9. The over-under on this game is 214.5. That is tied for the lowest. So not a game I'm too excited about. I don't think I want any SGA because he hasn't been hitting value at his price tag. They're not moving him down. If anything, they keep bumping him up or keeping him the same. Are you looking at SGA in this game? Would you rather go Jimmy Butler? Or are you going to avoid both of them?
I'm going to go Jimmy Butler instead, a little cheaper. And Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat are a very good defensive team. So I could see them. And SGA is the main usage guy on that team. So I won't be rostering SGA tonight. Especially with Sexton being priced down. These guys that opened up value are a lot cheaper. Those are the ones who hit value so you can fit some other studs in your lineup.
Yep.
A lot of usage on nights like tonight. So I won't be having SGA. I don't think it's a good matchup for him. I do like Jimmy Butler. I know he played that crap last game, which creates for a low-owned game. Jimmy Butler can always go for a game when he has like 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6-7 assists, couple steals, couple blocks. So I'll be having some of him tonight just because I like his price. And he's due for a bounce back game. But other than that, no OKC. Maybe Al Horford. Think about him.
Yeah. Al Horford's someone I was looking at. I think that's a really strong cash option right there. I think he's going to be – his price is going to move up eventually because he's going to be a consistent 25, 30 points, pretty sure. So if you're looking for a really safe play at center, Al Horford – is probably your guy. If you're looking for a strong GPP play at power forward, I think Baisley is definitely someone you can look to. But on the Miami side of the ball, Kelly Olynyk at power forward. Surprisingly, he's playing minutes. He's getting it done. So we know he can hit the three. He's a good passer as a big man. He's got a good feel for the game. So at 4,600 with 2 games where he's almost gone 30, I like Olynyk here. I think I'm not too confident in playing him in a lot of lineups, but I'm going to have some exposure to him because if you can get 30 points at 4,600 at power forward, which I find to be one of the hardest positions in all of DFS. Like, it's just the one I have the toughest time hitting. So Kelly Olynyk, I'm going to roll the dice on him tonight. Probably not looking at Hero. Probably not looking at Robinson.
I like that Kelly Olynyk. Just because I was getting into the game saying I was reading some stuff and it says that even in blowouts, Spoelstra keeps Olynyk in the game. Okay,
that's
so if
big.
it's a blowout, Olynyk, the way that Miami runs their game, even if Hero or Robinson aren't in the game, is they run guys, they get their big man up top, they let them pass, they run little screens off of that, little handoffs and screens like that, and they shoot a lot of threes. So those are still assists. And Olynyk can shoot too. So if he gets hot and he's low owned, and he gets 20, 25 minutes, even more than that if it's a blowout, that is just absolute smash spot for him.
I agree. I think you have a couple GPP options in this game, but just not a lot of guys I'm going to have exposure to. How do you say that rookie's name for OKC, the power forward? Puskovic or something like that. He's out. So maybe Baisley gets even extra burn this game. We've seen him hit high 30s twice this year. So I do like Baisley here. I like Olenek. Those will be the guys I have the most exposure to. I didn't mention Dort or Hill. I will have no Hill. I think I'm done with Dort until he starts getting 25, 30 again. But yeah, that probably does it for that one. Let's look at this next game.
So games like this, especially when there's injury news, those are the games I usually end up playing the majority of the players from those games. Even if the over-under is not high at all, I think a lot of those players can hit way better value and stuff. So like Boston, I like them now. Cleveland, and then New York has a pace-up. I always like pace-up plays.
Pace-up's the way to go. And speaking of high over-under and fast pace, we have Dallas at Houston as the next game. Houston's -4. The over-under on that game is 230. Both teams are coming off back-to-back. Doncic, he looks like he's good to go after being held out of last night's game. And Harden had a game-time decision tag next to his name. He is going to be good to go. So it looks like, other than Kristaps Porzingis for Dallas, they have pretty much the roster they've been running with all year, right? I mean, they haven't had Porzingis, but I don't think you have like Powell or Finney-Smith. Yeah, none of those guys are out. So I'm not really big on Dallas's roster so far. No one's really hitting value consistent. I kind of like Maxi Kleber. I know he can sometimes get you 30 points, and he's always a cheap power forward option. So I've kind of been keeping an eye on him, but I don't think I'm going to have anyone from Dallas in this game, and it's a really high over-under, which it's probably going to bite me in the ass here, but I'm not going to go to Luka. I'm not going to Hardaway. I won't have any Josh Richardson or Finney-Smith or Powell. I think we can do better here. I will be considering John Wall because he has looked great. So I think John Wall, he's probably in store for another 40, 45-point game. His price is now getting up there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's the highest scoring point guard on this slate. And then James Harden, he's obviously up there. He's, I think, 11,100 right now. Are you going to play Harden in any of your lineups? Do you think he's the best pay-up option on this slate?
I will not be playing Harden or Luka tonight. Just because, I mean, maybe I'll go one. I just don't think – I think with everybody in Houston, I'm going to wait a little. I know that Harden could go for a 70-point FanDuel game and sink me. But I like John Wall's usage. I think they're going to let him get more acclimated with a lot more ball in his hand. Let James Harden actually take some rest. That team looks pretty good. I'm happy John Wall's back on the court, but I'm thinking he's going to get more usage. So I won't be having Luka or Harden tonight. Luka has burnt me so many times this year, and I like Steph Curry way more at $1,600 less. I like De'Aaron Fox way more at $3,100 less. If Luka was down in the low 10,000s, maybe high 9,000s, then maybe I'd pick him. But other than that, I like other players way more tonight.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'm not paying up for Doncic, that's for damn sure. And then James Harden, I just think we can do better. I think we can spend that money a little bit better. I will have some Christian Wood just because the guy is getting 50 points in his sleep. So that's someone I'll have in a couple of my lineups. He's same price as Tatum. I want to go Tatum. I think Tatum's probably the safer play. But, I mean, Christian Wood has played like 3 games and gone 45 or more in every single one of them. So he's definitely someone you're going to have in your lineups just because of how he's playing. I'm not too bullish on him, but if he gets 45, 50 points again, is his price going to go up? Does it stay the same? Because he just becomes an automatic cash play at power forward.
Yep.
It's pretty remarkable that he's been such a solid 2010 player since arriving in Houston.
He'll be going low owned, I still think, with that price.
You think
he can smash against that team. There's no bigs that could really handle him. against Dallas. I think that with Marcus Smart being ruled out, I think that Tatum will be higher owned than Wood. But I think Christian Wood's gonna have he could. I don't think any bigs on Dallas can guard him. I watched Dallas play a couple games. They look like a mess in that front court. Kleba or Dwight Powell aren't going to be able to guard him. But with Christian Wood at 9,100, with Sabonis there and Tatum there, and then Randle and Zion are lower, I don't know if I'll have any of Christian Wood tonight.
So this just came out. Daniel House will not play tonight. I guess that might give a bump to Eric Gordon's value. So that would be another guy to look at with House out. Gordon, he should get more time on the court. But again, I just think the player pool is so deep at small forward. I think we can do better, but not a bad pivot. I mean, if you like this matchup, it is a high over under. You can go to Gordon, but he probably won't make my lineup. Just wanted to throw him out there, though. Let's look at the next one here. We got Indiana at New Orleans. New Orleans is -1.5 right now. Over-under is 216.5. This is, again, one of the lowest over-unders on the slate. So, Indiana, typically a slow-paced team. New Orleans, a little bit, they're more of a fast-paced team. I don't like any of the pricing for Indiana players here. I think Sabonis is too high. I think Miles Turner is too high. Victor Oladipo looks okay, but I'd rather go Sexton. And I think Brogdon, he's been on a tear. I get it, but at 8,000, you need to get me 40 or more. So he's more of a cash game right now than GPP. But I don't know, Gordon, are you going to have anyone on either side of the ball here, or Indiana or New Orleans?
I'm gonna take Zion until he absolutely kills it one night.
I knew that was coming.
I told you that the other day in person. I'm gonna pick Zion every single time until he's over 10K. I don't know what it is, but that's another guy who's due for a positive regression game. 7,500, and Zion could go for 20 and 15 and get a couple blocks and steals, and you will be so upset with yourself that you didn't play him. See, like I said, this is the type of night where Collins is very high owned. It's like an obvious play, and he lays a dud, and Zion comes in. Zion under 15% owned and absolutely kills it. That's a night I could see tonight being with all the injuries and the way that NBA is so dramatic. DFS is just as dramatic for NBA.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say Zion. And I mean, all the logic and all that, it adds up. I mean, the reasoning's there. He's cheap right now. We know what he's capable of. He should be a 40 to 50-point player with 60-point upside. So if tonight's the night at 7,500, I think that's his price, somewhere in that range. That's really solid. I do like Zion in this one. I like Bledsoe. We were just talking shit on him past couple pods.
You said that was going to happen.
Yeah, he just needed to watch and get motivated. That's all. And he did. And now he's looking good. And at 5,100, I think he can hit 25, 30 FanDuel points. That's not a bad option here. I think that's really strong GPP. I'm not going to Brandon Ingram. Steven Adams, I think we can do a little bit better. And then Lonzo Ball. He's someone for GPP he's just always on the table because, he could get you 13 points. He could get you 50 points, It's really just a roll of the dice with Lonzo. If you want to roll it, go ahead. But I'm not rolling with Lonzo. If anything, I'm going to go with his brother. I'm going with the younger Ball on this slate.
Cheaper?
He is cheaper.
I'll take the cheaper brother. And little brothers. I'm a little brother, so I will be taking little brother.
I'm a younger brother as well, or little brother. We're team little brother. Big brother's always listening.
Yeah, but that game, like I said, I won't be having much. Maybe just Zion. So I'll be rolling with Zion. I won't have Eric Bledsoe even though he burnt me. But I like Zion tonight.
What about the Holiday brothers or McDermott with Warren out? Are you looking for any of the value on Indiana that pops up with these injuries, or
if anything, I think that it would just be. I watched them play the other game without TJ Warren, and it just looks like Oladipo and Brogdon just had the ball in their hands more. But again, even with if if TJ Warren would have got rolled out earlier today and Oladipo would be 6,500, I would take him more. If Brogdon would be cheaper, I would take him more. But Oladipo at 7,200 and then Colin Sexton at 7,100 with a high usage guy on their team out, you go with Colin Sexton. Now, is that to say that Oladipo won't have a huge game? He still could. He could hit better value than Sexton, but Sexton's a safer play. His floor will be safer, I feel like.
I'd agree with that. I just know Sexton's going to be chucking up all the shots tonight. They need him, so I think he's good for 35-40 tonight. There's not really anyone else I'm going to be looking at in that game. So we'll just flick it on over to the next one, which is Detroit at Milwaukee. This is the largest spread on the slate. Milwaukee's minus 16.5. Blowout alert. Over-under is 224. And Detroit, they're playing on a back-to-back here. We will not have Blake Griffin. It looks like Rose is still going to play, which is surprising. That is surprising. I mean, I had Darrell Wright as a strong option at shooting guard if he were out. If Rose is playing, I don't know if I like it as much. I also had Killian Hayes as a possible play at point guard, but with Rose playing again, I don't know if I like that play as much. So I'm probably staying away from most Detroit players other than Saddiq Bey. I think Saddiq Bey is a solid option. If you look at his shooting last game, it was very poor, but the game before that, he had 30 points. They're going to rely on him with no Josh Jackson in this game. So I think you can go to Saddiq Bey as a cheap flyer at the small forward position on this slate. Trying to see what I think his price is like 4,200. I want to make sure. Yeah. 4,200 with Chetty Osman at 4,000. I think those are both fine plays if you wanted to go cheap. And then the power forward position for Detroit. Who is this? What's this rookie's name again? Isaiah Stewart. Minimum salary, 3,500. If the minutes are there, I think he can hit value. That's someone to keep an eye on. He's been getting about 10, 15 minutes a game. I know he hit 20 minutes, 21 minutes the other day. So if he gets time on the court, he should be able to hit value. That's just, again, like if you want to be 0.1% owned or 1% owned, that's the kind of guy you want to be looking at here with all the injuries. And with it being a possible blowout, it would make sense that Detroit would go to their young guys, let them get some playing time on the court. So I definitely think Milwaukee takes care of business early and quickly. So I'm not big on Giannis. He would have to score pretty much 60 points in 3 quarters because I don't see him playing a whole game. Middleton, he looks like a strong cash option with limited GPP upside. I think Middleton's always a good play just because he can pour it in. But again, with a blowout brewing, I'm not quite sure. Holiday's price, his price looks real good. He's at 6,400. I don't think that's a bad play either. Bobby Portis, though, on Milwaukee, that's probably going to be my favorite play at center. I think the team is going to blow out Detroit, and that means Portis gets those garbage time minutes, which he's done. He's done a lot with the minutes he's given. He's hit like 25 to 30 points pretty consistently here. And I was looking at who's hit value the most the past 5 games, and it would be Bobby Portis. So he's still cheap if you think it's going to be a blowout like I am. I think you can go to Bobby Portis. How do you feel about that, Gordon? Do you think that's a little too risky, Bobby Portis, or do you like that play?
If you play him and he smashes and he's low owned, that's how you win. If you play him and he sucks and there's better value out there elsewhere, that's how you hit zero.
Did you guys see Kevin Durant?
What did he say?
Kevin Durant's out for a week because he was due to COVID.
Yeah. I don't know if you already talked about it or not. I just
Oh,
saw
we
it.
didn't. I didn't even see that. Sources, Kevin Durant facing 7-day quarantine, set to miss 4 games. Ooch. Well, if you own Kevin Durant and you're looking for a flyer, you want to go look at Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, you want to look at those guys. 4 games, that's a decent amount of time.
You have Kyrie, you're going to have a good week.
DFS purposes, we're going to be all over that. Next Nets game, we're going to be all over it. Good update, Kyle. I didn't even realize he was
I did. I honestly forgot about it too.
Missing a week. Anyone else in this Detroit-Milwaukee game that you're looking at?
Not in particular. I probably won't even have anybody in this game at all.
All
to
right.
be honest. With the other games, all the games before that I haven't seen everything, big spread. I'm not touching Giannis, any of those guys. If I would pick anybody from Milwaukee, it would be Drew Holiday, just because he's only 6,400 and he could still have a really good game. He's probably safest floor in a blowout for them. But I'm not taking a chance and be like, DiVincenzo is going to be the one that gets the blowout burn tonight. I like way more other people in these games tonight. Even with Blake Griffin being out, Jeremy Grant's at like 7,200 or so. It's too much. I would take his props, maybe, but again, you're looking at a blowout. I'll probably cross that game off everything tonight. If I'm doing player props, if I'm doing lineups, he will not be in anything.
Yeah, that's a good game to avoid.
That game won't be in. That's a good cross-off game for me. With, like I said, I know we keep talking about it, but the emphasis is like Boston's players. Even Tatum has great value. Brown can still hit great value. Pritchard's one of their best plays tonight. It's a safe play too, and him being cheap. You can stack other guys in there. And then what was the other game with injury news? Oh, Garland being out. Love Cleveland players more. Colin Sexton 7,100, usage way up. Larry Nance 7,100, usage way up. So it's hard to play some of those guys like Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant, he's been playing great. I'm happy for him, but his price is ridiculous right now on FanDuel at 7,200. It's not I feel like his floor isn't safe enough, or his ceiling isn't worth it enough to play him tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that somewhat. I'll say that he has flashed a high ceiling because of his defensive stats, and he is definitely not scared to shoot. But I just remember the Grant at 4,200 on Denver. You throw in your lineup who finishes with 7 points. It's just like really hard for me to accept the fact that Grant is in Detroit and is pretty much the focal point when there's no Blake Griffin. I mean, I'm with you. I don't like that price. He's really getting up there now. You know he's going to get the minutes, but I think we can. I think I'd go Nance. I think Larry Nance is a better play tonight at that price range. And I'm just looking here at projected minutes. You got Jason Tatum projected 38. You have Jaylen Brown projected 38. You have Colin Sexton projected 39. These are guys on beat up teams. They're not full health. So they will be playing heavy minutes, which usually translates into fantasy points. So we're definitely looking for guys on teams that are banged up right now who are going to shoulder most of the load here. We got RJ Barrett at 37 minutes as well. I don't know if we talked too much RJ Barrett earlier, but the more I was looking at him against Atlanta, I'm big on RJ Barrett tonight.
Big on RJ Barrett tonight. I'm with you.
I think I'd go RJ over Harrison Barnes. They're the same price. I saw a lot of people saying go Barnesy, but I think I'm going to go RJ Barrett in this one just because of the matchup. But let's talk about Harrison Barnes and his revenge game. We got Sacramento -2 at Golden State. Highest over-under on the slate. It's 234.5. Both teams playing in a back-to-back here, second half of the back-to-back. It being the highest over-under on the slate, are you going to have a lot of exposure to this game?
Yeah, I like. Again, I'm always a person who will have I'll have players in the last game in hopes that my lineup is doing great, and I can just sit back, pour a nice glass of wine, and watch my lineup climb. So De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, love all their prices. Think that they can smash it. I will have a lot of them. Probably going to go them, and then I'm going to stack the other games I like. But Bagley's minutes, Bagley's price is great. Buddy Hield's price, minutes, great. And De'Aaron Fox, too. So, especially with Golden State being on a back-to-back, I could see them being a little bit lazier on defense, and they'd run a little bit more. I don't know if Draymond's playing yet. I doubt we even get that news before lock. I wouldn't play him. But besides those guys on the Kings, I like Steph, Wiggins, and that might be it from Golden State. What are you thinking about this game?
I have no problem if you want to stack this game, to be honest with you. Like if you wanted to go Curry with Fox, if you wanted to go Wiggins with Hield, if you want to go Oubre with Barnes, maybe throw Rashawn Holmes in there. I'm okay with it because it's the highest over under. Like you said, I can see Golden State not playing that much defense. This being a real high scoring game. Maybe it hits overtime. I just think it's a nice game to stack. Again, you like having that last game on the slate that you just watch your lineup climb. Well, if all those other games are stinkers and this is the one to have, you should be set because both teams. I mean, Buddy Hield is the only one I'll say hasn't really been hitting value, but everyone else is hitting value consistently. Rashawn Holmes is hitting value. Harrison Barnes is hitting value. Buddy Hield, we'd like to see get up a little bit higher, just a little bit in the points department. But even Wiggins, if you look at the past 3, he's averaging 36. I think there's value all across here. I think it's a great game to stack. I personally like some of the guys in earlier games because of injuries, but I can completely understand why someone would want to go to Sacramento at Golden State and have a lot of guys in this game. So I'm looking at Bagley a little bit. I kind of like Baisley or Olenek more, but not a bad pivot there. I'm big on Rashawn Holmes. I just think he's a beast. I think everyone's finally finding out that he's a good center. I think he could hit 30, 35 points in this game, which you would want at that salary. I think we can do a little bit better than Rashawn Holmes, but like I said, if you want to stack this game, I think that's fine. But yeah, I think this game's got a ton of value, a lot of good cash plays. I'll put it that way.
Yep.
But I'll have some exposure to this. But like we said earlier, I like the Knicks going against Atlanta. I like their players. I like Boston players against Toronto. I like Cleveland players against Orlando. That's really where I'm going to be looking to make the core of my lineup for this slate. And we're 10 minutes to lock. Is there anyone that we missed that you think we should at least mention, like a value play that didn't make it?
No. I think that we covered this slate pretty well with all the injuries. Everybody that's following, I hope you thought about just what we were saying about guys' usage and different things. That's what you want to think about. And if you're panicking and scrambling, so is everybody else. So are we. I wait till just about now to do my lineups just because of that. So because I've been burnt so many times and having to go in and readjust it and moving around, it just throws me off. So I like tonight's slate even more with all the injuries. So I hope you're feeling good tonight as well.
I know I'm feeling good about this slate. I'm very confident here, and I think everyone watching should be confident too. And if you are watching, please hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we should, include, like DraftKings. Maybe we had someone in the chat today ask about player props. We'll do all that stuff. We're big DFS junkies, so we talk a lot of FanDuel DFS here, but it kind of pools over into everything. If you're looking at DFS, you're looking at stats all day. So it kind of helps with player props, and it helps you with season-long fantasy. You know exactly who's playing, who do you pick up when a starter is hurt. So we can cover all that stuff. All you got to do is drop a comment or question, and we'll get back to all you guys. But I got to agree. I think we smothered this slate, and we pretty much covered everything. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Crush your tournaments, crush your head-to-heads, 50-50s, whatever you're playing. Let's make a bunch of money. We'll get back together tomorrow, and we'll break down tomorrow's slate. Until then, peace.